Hello everyone, Sunit this side. First of all, please let me know if all of you are able to see my screen. If you can see my screen, then we will
Please put a
proceed further.
if you are able to see the screen.
If you have any issues, you can type it in the chat window. Okay, so, okay. So I get confirmation only from two people saying that they can see my screen. And how about others? Is everyone able to see my screen? Can you please confirm yes or no on the chat window? Okay. So yes, we are good to go now. Everyone is able to see my screen. Okay. So yes, we will, this is the introductory class on the course exploring data analytics using Hadoop. Okay. So this is Sunit, okay. So I will be taking up this course for you on behalf of IT Skills, okay. So let me give you my quick introduction, okay. So I have been working on Hadoop from past 5 years, okay. So my core areas are Hadoop and data analytics, okay. So I'm Hadoop certified from the popular Hadoop distributions, okay. So yes, I'll be taking up this course for you, and if you like, I will go through this presentation. So if you have any questions, what you can do is you can put your question on the chat window, and after a while I'll take up all your questions, and at the end we'll have question answer sessions, okay, where you can ask all your queries, okay. So shall we proceed then, if everyone is okay? Okay. Okay. So yes, this is the introduction on the course, which is exploring data analytics using Hadoop. Okay. So yes, before I start the session, this is the agenda for today. Okay, we will discuss the job market and we will see what is big data, what are the use cases, what are the ecosystem components, and what are the core components of Hadoop in everything else. We will look at the course content also. Okay, so we will see that how we will be doing the practical in the class and what type of case studies you will be getting. Okay, everything we will see. But yes, we will discuss the course content at the end of this session. Okay. So yes, so first of all, what is big data? Okay, so what you need to understand first of all is like how big data and Hadoop are interrelated to each other. Okay, so like whenever we search on Google or whenever we hear this term, big data and Hadoop, right? So it's like we should know like how they are interrelated, right? So what is big data? Big data is nothing but it's a generic term. It's not a technology, or it's not a tool, or it's not a framework. So what is big data? Big data is nothing but it's a data which is very huge in volume, which is being generated at a very high speed, and it can have varieties of data. Okay, so if I talk about SQL, okay, so what SQL can have? SQL can process only the structured data. Yes, I know it is possible to store the audios and videos in SQL as well, but yes, the processing will be very complex. Okay, so what is big data? Big data is nothing but it is a term. Okay, it is just a term, so it means the huge amount of data. It's like zettabyte of data, petabytes of data. Okay, so now like you can ask me this question here that till now we were processing the data, we were storing the data, and we were doing the analysis on the data, right? Then why suddenly we are talking about big data and Hadoop, right? What was the problem? Okay, so if I talk about the legacy systems, right? So this legacy systems, right, it can be of anything. Like legacy system, it can be mainframe system also, okay? So the legacy systems were primarily designed for small set of data. Their architecture is for small set of data, okay? So if I try to process huge amount of data using the legacy systems, then I won't be able to. Okay, what is the problem with the legacy systems? Because their architecture was mainly for small set of data, or you can say that their architecture was not for huge set of data. Okay, so we say that yes, we cannot process or we cannot do the analysis on the big data using the legacy systems or using the traditional database technologies. Okay, and yes, okay, so when I say big data, it means huge amount of data. Okay, so it's like, let's say, okay, so first thing which you can ask me here is why do we want to do the analysis on the data? Okay, so it's like, let's say that I'm working with the bank, okay, and what is my job? My job is to give the offers to my customer, okay, based on their transaction histories. Okay, so let's say that holiday season is going on, and I wanna give some offers to my customers. Okay, let's say what I am doing the analysis on the past 1 month of data. Okay, let's say I am looking at the histories of each and every customer. Okay, I'm looking at the history, like what all they have bought till now. Okay, but I am doing the analysis only on past 1 month's data. Okay, let's say that I'm doing the analysis on the past 1 month's data. Then what can be my conclusion for a particular person? Okay, so my conclusion can be that this person has spent like 50K and then the past 1 month on clothes, or let's say that on some electronics items. Okay, let's say a person has bought one laptop in past 1 month, and that was the maximum transaction which he had made. Okay, but keep this thing in mind. What I am doing the analysis only on past 1 month's data. Okay, so do you think it will be okay if I roll out the offers based on the past 1 month's data? If I roll out the offers based, or if I give the offers based on the past 1 month's data, then I will be giving the offers on some electronic item for that particular user, right? But this can also be possible that only for that particular month a user had bought the electronic item. Okay, so if I do the analysis on the whole year's data, then I can get some different results. Okay, so what is my point of giving you this example is, if I am doing some analysis on small set of data, then I may not get the right result. Okay, so in order to increase your sales, what we are supposed to do, we are supposed to do the analysis on huge amount of data. Okay, so that's why what we are discussing here, we are discussing the big data analysis. And why we are doing the analysis on the big data, or why we are doing the analysis on huge amount of data, so that we can get the right results. Okay, so that we can increase the profits. Okay, so that's about the data analytics. Okay, so when I say you this thing that yes, we'll be doing the analysis on big data, okay, it means that legacy systems, right, they won't be able to process big data. Okay, so this was yes, so this was the problem with the legacy systems. Okay, they were not able to handle the huge amount of data. Okay, so now okay, so now what is, if you ask me like what is the definition of big data, I would say that it is nothing but it's a problem which industry is facing right now. Big data is nothing but it's a problem which industry is facing right now. Okay, so when I say it's a problem, then what do I need? I need a solution for this. Okay, I need a solution for this. So what is the solution? solution is Hadoop. Okay, so now the interrelation of big data and Hadoop should be clear to all of you. So what is big data? Big data is nothing but it's a term which represents the huge amount of data, or the data which is being generated at a high speed, or the data which has varieties of structures, like it will have the structured data, unstructured data. Okay, and if I talk about Hadoop, what it is a solution to all the big data problems. Okay, so now you can ask me like why only Hadoop? Okay, or why Hadoop is the only solution? Okay, so first of all, Hadoop is very famous. Hadoop is a very famous framework for big data. The reason for that is it's first of all it because of its architectural capabilities. Okay, so its architecture is capable of handling huge amount of data. Okay, and yes, because its architecture is capable of handling huge amount of data, and its architecture can handle so many problems on its own. So that's why from a developer perspective or from a user perspective, we don't need to take care of all those things. Okay, so what is big data? Big data is a term, and what is Hadoop? It's a solution to all the big data problems. But if I give you the technical definition, it would be like big data. What is okay? So what is Hadoop? It's a framework for storage and analysis at large scale. Okay, so if you ask me like what is a framework, I'm telling you this thing that Hadoop is a framework for storage and analysis at large scale, right? So when I say framework, so what do I mean by framework? So framework is nothing but it's a group of components working together. Okay, so it's like I can add more component and I can remove some components depending upon my requirement. Okay, so Hadoop is a framework, okay, for storage and analysis at large scale. Okay, and Hadoop can process and store structured as well as unstructured data. Okay, so unstructured data like audio, video, okay, images, and structured data like the data which is structured. Okay, okay, and the Hadoop, right, it can address many of the challenges with distributed processing and storing. Okay, so when I say the distributed processing, okay, I will repeat this line. It says that it can address many of the challenges with distributed processing and storing. Okay, so okay, so we will discuss this thing in detail, but it's like when I told you that legacy systems architecture was not meant for huge amount of data, and when I say that Hadoop can process huge amount of data, or Hadoop can store huge amount of data, so how it can do that? Okay, so what Hadoop is doing the distributed processing. Okay, so let me take one example here. Let's say I have got one file, okay, and that file has got number 1 to 100, okay, and I'm asking one of you to find the number 99. Okay, so how will you find the number 99? You will read each and every number, okay, and then at the end, probably after 5 minutes, you will say that yes, you have found the number 99. Okay, but if I say that no, you are taking so much time, I want the results within seconds. I want the results within 5 seconds, or let's say within 30 seconds. Okay, so what I can do for that is I can distribute the numbers to all of you. Okay, so let's say five of you are there. So what I can do is I can give 20 numbers to each of you, and then I can ask all of you to find the number 99. Okay, so now what you all will be doing? You all will be doing the parallel processing. Okay, so you all will be doing the parallel processing, and I know I will get the result within seconds. Okay, so it's like I am the manager and I have got only one resource under me. So whatever work I am getting from the client, I am assigning it to single resource. Okay, so that resource has got its own capabilities. So what I can do is I can hire more resources, okay, and then I can distribute the work. So this is what? This is distributed processing. It means I'm distributing the data and the processing is happening parallelly. Okay, so what Hadoop is following? Hadoop is following the concept of distributed processing. Okay, and it is processing the data in parallel. Okay, so yes, so big data and Hadoop. Okay, so big data is nothing but the data which is very huge. So what is Hadoop? It is a framework which is helping me to store and to do the analysis at large scale. Okay, so before I proceed further, please let me know if you have any questions. You can put your questions on the chat window, or you can tell me your questions. Any questions? Okay, so Vamsi is good so far, and how about others?
Yeah, I'm good.
No,
No question.
I don't have any questions.
Okay, okay, no questions? Okay, okay. So now when okay, so it's like no one has questions yet, so we will move on. Okay, so now we have okay, so we have seen like what is big data and what is Hadoop and why we will be doing the analysis, okay, or why do we want to do the analysis on big data? What will happen if we are doing the same set of analysis, or if we are doing the same analysis on small set of data? And why the legacy systems were not able to process huge amount of data, right? So I hope the basic concept is clear to all of you now, right? Okay, so now, so if I talk about Hadoop, right? So Hadoop is doing the parallel processing, it is doing the distribution, and then it is doing the parallel processing, right? So Hadoop, right, it has got two core components. Okay, one is for storage and one is for processing. Okay, so we have got HDFS for storage and we have got MapReduce for analysis. Okay, so if I talk about HDFS in a nutshell, and if I give you the overview, I will say that we will have n number of machines in Hadoop cluster. Okay, so why n number of machines? So it's like I have got my laptop, okay, and for my laptop, I have got 1 terabyte hard disk. Okay, so now if you are asking me to store 2 terabytes of data, will I be able to do so? No, I will say no. My system, my laptop can store only 1 terabyte of data. Okay, but still, if you're asking me to store the data, what I can do is I can buy one external hard drive of 1 terabyte and then I can store the data. Right? So if I talk about big data is huge amount of data and the data velocity will be so much, and like we all know that data is growing like anything. The reason for that, why data is growing like anything, because all of us has started generating the data. We are using scientific instruments, mobile devices, sensor technology, social media networks, right? Everywhere data is being generated. So I know even in future data will keep on growing. Okay, so if I want to increase the profit, I will have to do the analysis on the big data. Okay, I know this thing. So it's like we will be investing a lot by 2017 in the big data. So it's like by 2017, right, we'll be spending close to $55 billion Not spending, you can say like, yes, we'll be investing $55 billion in big data field. The reason for that, because we need to do the analysis on big data. Okay, so yes, okay, so when I say that yes, I want to store a huge amount of data, so I know that I cannot store the whole data on a single machine. I'm supposed to have multiple machines if I want to store petabytes of data or if I want to store zettabytes of data. Right? I need to store huge amount of data, and I know that it is out of the single machine's capabilities. Okay, so like I told you that if I am a manager and I'm getting the work from my client, right, and if I am assigning it to a single resource, I know the processing speed will be low. I mean the processing speed will be not very high. Okay, so in the same way, what I will be doing, I will have the multiple machines, I will have the n number of machines, okay, and I will distribute the big data, or I will distribute the huge amount of data to all the machines, and then all those machines will work in parallel to give me the result. Okay, so okay, so we call that as a cluster. Okay, so what is cluster? Cluster is nothing but a set of machines. Okay, so let me show you this picture. You see, okay, so when I talk about the data center, it's like we'll have set of machines. Okay, so first of all, these are the machines, okay, where we will be storing the data. Okay, and then a group of machine will form a rack. This is the rack, okay, and then group of racks will form a cluster. Okay, so we say that yes, Hadoop will store it in a cluster, because in order to store the more data, we need more storage space. Okay, and yes, we can store the data, right? We can spend a lot on the storage part, okay, and then we can store it. But how about the processing? Okay, so in today's world, I should be able to process the data on time, right? So processing the data or to do the analysis on time is really very important for me. If I am not able to do that on time, then I will see that there is no point in storing huge amount of data. Okay, so if I take the example of credit card companies, right? If some kind of abnormal transaction is taking place on any of the card, right? The credit card company should know this thing immediately, that some kind of fraud is happening and they are supposed to block this card. Okay, so you see, like they will have huge amount of data, but still I'm expecting the processing speed to be so high. Right? So I need to do the analysis on time. Okay, and the legacy systems, they can't do that for me. Okay, the only way to achieve that is to do the parallel processing. And Hadoop architecture is for parallel processing, like its architecture is doing the parallel processing. Okay, so as a user or as a developer, I don't need to write the code to distribute the data or to do the parallel processing. I don't need to write the complex set of data, or I need to write the complex set of code. Okay, so why Hadoop is so famous, or why Hadoop is in demand? First of all, it is the solution to all the big data problems. Okay, second, Hadoop's architecture is meant for big data. Okay, third, it has it's a framework, and it has got the inbuilt capabilities. Okay, and it can handle so many failing scenarios and so many other problems on its own. So when I say so many other problems, it's like if a machine is going down, or if a process is running slow, or if the whole rack is going down, okay? So Hadoop will take care of all these things. Okay, so we will be discussing these details in the coming classes. Okay, there we will see. Okay, so basically we need to understand the Hadoop architecture, okay, like how it works, okay, how it does the distribution and how it does the parallel processing. Okay. Okay, so before I proceed further, please let me know if you have any questions on big data and Hadoop.
No, I don't have any question.
Okay, you have any questions? Okay, so how about others? You have any questions?
Yeah, is processing I mean the distribution and the processing is
Yes.
part of the framework, or is it part of
Yes,
the?
yes, it is part of the framework. Okay. So when I say that yes, Hadoop has got two core components, one is for storage and one is for processing, right? So distribution it will be doing on its own. Okay. And the processing will take place in parallel, but yes, you need to write the processing logic. Okay,
Oh,
so let's say that you want to find out the sum of some numbers. Okay, so you will just be writing the program to find the sum. Okay, you will not be writing the code to do the parallel processing.
okay.
Okay. Okay, so any other questions, anyone? Any questions?
I have a question. Let's hope
Yes,
I'm not
please go ahead.
stepping ahead. So Hadoop compared to a language. So say like R or Python. So at what point using Hadoop framework will Python as a language be compatible?
Okay. So I got your question. So you are saying, okay, so first of all, Hadoop is not a language, okay? So Hadoop is a framework which is which
Correct.
ha- which is helping me to do the storage as well, and which is helping me to do the analysis as well. Okay, so when I talk about the analysis part, right, and when I tell you that you are supposed to write the code, you are supposed to write the processing logic, so that processing logic you can write in Java, you can write in Python, you can write in Perl, and you can write in Ruby. So basically you can write the processing logic in any language. The only constraint is that language should run on Linux and it should have standard input output. Okay,
Good.
so yes, you cannot compare Hadoop to a programming language. Hadoop is a framework and you can do the programming or you can write the processing logic using different programming languages.
Okay, great. So basically, such a framework as Hadoop, you can use other languages to extract the data from Hadoop.
Yes, you're right, exactly.
All right, thank
Okay?
you. Thank you.
Yes, okay. Okay, so any other questions? Okay, so it's like, okay, so when I say that we need to understand the Hadoop's architecture in order to work on Hadoop, so in this course, okay, we will be covering the very less theory part, okay, we will just be discussing the architecture, we will not be going into the detail. I mean, we will not be focusing or we will not be spending so much time on the theory part. I will give you I'll give you like I'll give you the overview like how what is the architecture and how it works, but mostly we will be dealing with the case studies here. Okay, so we will okay, so this course is all about the development and analysis activities. Okay, so we will be discussing all the activities which we need to perform for development and analysis perspective. Okay, and the course duration will be around 40 hours. Okay, and it's like on daily basis we'll have 1 hour session. Okay, but it's like yes, after like after each and every session I'll be giving you the case studies, and on everyday basis you are supposed to work on those case studies for your practice. Okay, and yes, okay, so we will be, so basically we'll be dealing with the use cases here. We will we will be covering only the limited version of theory. Okay, so any questions here on this, like what we will be covering? I'll share the course content shortly. Okay, but yes, we will be covering only the limited version of theory. We will be dealing with the case studies, okay, and we will see like what all activities we need to perform from development and analysis perspective. Okay, so and this course, like every day we'll have 1 hour session, and you will be given the case studies, you'll be given the assignments to work on the concepts. Okay, so any questions here, any other questions here?
Yeah, and for running the Hadoop framework on the laptop, is there a hardware and requirement?
Okay, so operating system, like you can have any operating system, Windows, Linux, Mac, that's not a problem, okay, because what we will be doing, we will be creating a virtual machine on top of the operating system. But yes, for RAM, it will be good if you have more than 4 GBs of RAM.
Mm-hmm. Okay, and
Okay.
hard drive? Hard drive,
we need only 10 GBs of space.
Okay. So we'll be for using the big data, so maybe a terabyte as a sample data to work around the exercises. So are we using the cloud data?
Yes, so it's like, okay, so if you talk about the production, like you know that we will be installing Hadoop on our system, and it will be a single node machine, right? Single node cluster. So I will be giving you the access to the IBM demo cloud, so where you can run your programs with huge amount of data. Okay, so you can sign up for the IBM demo cloud. I'll provide you the documents, and you'll be able to access the cloud. You will be able to do the processing on huge amount of data. If you say that yes, your data is in terms of terabyte or it's in terms of petabytes.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, okay. So yes, you will be given the access to the IBM demo cloud. Okay, so there you can do the analysis on huge amount of data, because our systems, right, it will have its own capabilities, or okay, or the limitations. Okay, so that's why we cannot do the analysis on petabytes of data for our systems. Okay.
And
Okay.
yeah, quick question. And is it the demo cloud? Is this only during the course duration, or it?
No, it's not that, because that is not for this course. It's like anyone can sign up for the demo cloud. That is from IBM. Okay, so you
Okay.
can use that whenever you want to. Okay, so any other questions? Okay, so if you don't have any questions, then let me share the course content. Just give me 1 second here. Okay. Okay, so first of all, in order to work on Hadoop, there are some prerequisites, okay? So you should know how to operate a Linux operating system, okay? So it's like when I talk about the Windows operating system, I should know how to create a directory, how to delete a folder, or how to create a new file, right? Okay, so I need to know the basic commands of Linux, because what we'll be doing, we'll be installing Hadoop on Linux. Okay, so if you know the basic Linux commands, then it will be like a cakewalk for the Hadoop basic commands. Okay, But yes, do not worry if you don't have any experience on Linux, okay, because we will be covering the basics, Linux basics in this class, okay, and hardly there are 8 to 10 basic commands which you need to know in order to work on Hadoop. Okay, so yes, I will be providing you the case study for Linux. Okay, and yes, when I talk about the processing part, right? When I say that yes, we will be doing the analysis on the data. Okay, and we will be writing the code, or we'll be writing the program to do the analysis on the data. That we can do any language. Okay, but we will be doing it using Java, Python, Perl, or Ruby. Okay, for Java, if you don't have any background on Java, so we will be providing you the Java tutorials or the videos, and you can go through the recorded lectures, okay, and you can brush up your basic concepts on Java. But yes, in order to work on Hadoop, you need to know only the core Java, not advanced Java. Okay, so you need to know the OOPS, okay, and like the collection frameworks, okay. So you don't need to know the advanced Java. So if you don't know Java, then it's not a problem. Okay, and yes, for Python, I mean it's very good if you learn Python, or if you have background on Python, but again it's not mandatory. So same is the case with Java. It is good to know Java, but it is not mandatory. The reason for that is, okay, so when I take the example of implementing joins, okay, so let's say I've got two tables, or I've got two files, and I want to implement join. I want to join those files, okay. So those who have worked on SQL, they must be knowing that yes, it is very easy to implement joins in SQL, okay. But if I try to do the same thing in Java, I know I'll have to write a complex set of code to implement the join. Okay, so yes, even the Hadoop developers, right, they realize this thing that yes, sometimes it becomes very complex to do the things using the programming. Okay, so what do we have these days? We have got Hive. You must have heard about it. So this is the most widely used ecosystem component for the data analysis. So which is Hive. Okay, so Hive is like SQL. Okay, so you will be writing the SQL-like queries. Okay, so yes, but for the pre-processing and all, even you know, right? You cannot change the format and all of a file using Hive, right? So the Hive, right, which is a query language, it will always have some limitations. But if you know the programming language, you'll have the flexibilities. Okay, but yes, it is good to know Java, but it is not mandatory. Okay, so if you are interested in knowing Java, then we'll be providing you the tutorials on Java. Okay, and if you want to do the programming on Python, then you can learn these basic concepts. Okay, we have got some Python videos also. Okay. Okay, so yes, we can provide you the Python tutorials as well. Okay, but yes, those are from YouTube. Okay, but yes, we can provide you the links to all the tutorials, okay, for Python. Okay, so this was the prerequisite. Okay, so yes, this is the course content. So what all we will be discussing? So first of all, we will discuss the Hadoop architecture. Okay, and then we will discuss Hadoop 1 and Hadoop 2. Okay, so it's like in order to work on Hadoop 2, I should know like how Hadoop 1 works. Okay, so basically the commands and all, everything is same, but there is a architectural difference. There were some limitations in case of Hadoop 1. So we have got Hadoop 2. So these days we are using Hadoop 2 in production. Okay, so we will be discussing Hadoop 1 and Hadoop 2. Okay, so we will discuss the architecture, and then we will cover the practical part. Okay, Okay, so after that we will discuss the HDFS, okay, which is the core component of Hadoop for storage. Okay, so we will discuss HDFS and other concepts. Okay, and then the MapReduce. MapReduce is the one which we use to do the analysis. Okay, so yes, like I told you that we will be writing a Java program, a Python program, a Ruby program, and a Perl program. Okay, but yes, okay, so if we are interested only in Java and Python, then we'll be writing that, and for Ruby and Perl, I can share the programs with you. Okay, but yes, the thing is you can write the programming logic using any language. Okay, but yes, it's like these days we have started moving away from Java. The reason for that, because Java is a very lower level language. Okay, so what do we have? We have got higher level languages like Python, right, and Scala. Okay, okay, so in MapReduce we will be discussing the basic concepts, and we will be doing we will be having the case studies, okay, on MapReduce. Okay, and yes, you see MapReduce using Python, which is a streaming. Okay, so we will discuss that also. Okay, so it's like Hadoop, right? It has got two core components. One is for storage and one is for processing. Okay, so Hadoop, right? It is an ecosystem. Okay, and it has got some other ecosystem components. Okay, so it's like ecosystem component means all the components are dependent on each other. Okay, so when I say that yes, Hadoop can only store and it can only process the data. Okay, when I say that, but that's okay if you store the data, that's okay if you're doing the processing, but I want to schedule a job. So how will I do that? I will say no, Hadoop is only providing the storage and the analysis support. So for that, what I need to know one ecosystem component called Uzi. Okay, so it's like all the ecosystem components, they are serving the different purpose. Okay, so by the end of this course you should be in a position to understand the difference or the purpose of the ecosystem component. Okay, so based on your let's say you're getting some requirement, so you should know that yes, for this requirement I should use these components. Okay, so by the end of this course you will be comfortable with all the ecosystem components, and you will be in a position to take up any Hadoop task on your own. Okay, so we will be discussing the Hive, which is the most widely used ecosystem component for analysis. Okay, so it is like SQL, so we will be writing the queries in SQL like format. Okay, and we will be discussing some concepts of Hive, and we will be having one case study on Hive as well. Then we will discuss PEG. Okay, so Hive, right? Hive we use only to do the analysis on the structured data. Okay, so even like SQL, right? We use SQL to do the analysis on structured data. But when I say big data, I say that yes, big data will have every kind of data, right? It will have structured data also, and it will have unstructured data also, right? So now I'm telling you that we use Hive for analysis on structured data. Okay, so if I talk about pig, right? Like like pig, it's a dirty animal, and it's like it can consume anything, right? So pig we use for unstructured plus structured data, but basically we use pig for unstructured data. Okay, so we will see that how do we do the analysis on unstructured data using pig. Okay, so Hive is for structured data and pig is for unstructured data. Okay, so after that we will discuss Scoop. Okay, so what is Scoop? Okay, so Scoop is an import export utility. Let's say that you have got your data in RDBMS. So what you want to do is you want to migrate that data to HDFS, or you have got data in HDFS and you want to put it to RDBMS. So for that, what we have got Scoop. Okay, So we will be discussing the scoop. We will be discussing the import export features. Okay, and we will have one case study. Okay, and it's like I will be giving you you will be having the quizzes after each and every session. Okay, and yes, we will be discussing HBase also. Okay, so HBase is a type of NoSQL database. Okay, so it's like, and when I talk about Hadoop, right? When I talk about Hadoop. So it's like it is for batch processing, right? And it won't allow me to do the random, like it won't allow me to do the updations and all. Okay. So it's like if I want to update some set of data, okay, so what do I need to use? I need to use HBase, which is a columnar database. Okay. So we will be covering the HBase also in the course, which is a type of NoSQL database, and it's a columnar database. Okay, and after that we will be discussing Flume. Okay, so Flume is to get the real-time data from any source. If I talk about Scoop, right, Scoop is like SQL to Hadoop. Okay, so we can get or we can put the data to RDBMS using Scoop. When I talk about Flume, right, it will get the event-based data from any source. Okay, so we'll be discussing Scoop, Flume. Okay, we will be discussing Uzi also, which we use for scheduling the jobs. Okay, and the most importantly, we will be discussing Spark also. Okay, so I have shown you like these are the core components. Okay, so one is HDFS and one is MapReduce, right? So MapReduce is only for batch processing. Okay, so these days MapReduce is becoming obsolete. Okay, so instead of using MapReduce, what we are using these days, we are using Spark. So what we are using Spark. Okay, but yes, in order to work on Spark, you need to have the basic understanding of MapReduce, so which we will be discussing. Okay, so for Spark, I will be covering the RDDs, the Spark context and Spark SQL context, introduction to machine learning streaming. Okay, so we will be covering some basic concepts on Spark. So it's like along with discussing the theory part, we will be doing the practical on Spark as well. Okay, so this is all about the course content. Course duration will be approximately 40 to 45 hours. Every day will have session for 1 hour. Okay, we may or we may not have session on weekends. Okay, so if you all are available on weekends, then either on Saturday or Sunday we can have the session. Okay, and yes, we will be covering the limited version of theory. We will be focusing on the practical. We will have the case studies, and we will see basically like how do we do the analysis on the data and what are the activities which a developer or which an analyst needs to perform. Okay. Okay, so that's all about the course content. Now please let me know if you have any questions around this.
And how many sessions approximately each topic will be going through?
Okay, so I don't, okay, so it's like if you talk about MapReduce, right, it's a really important component. So we will be spending around 6 to 7 hours on MapReduce. Okay, and if you talk about Hive, then again it's the most widely used component, so we'll be spending closely 7 to 8 hours on Hive. HBase, you can say closely 3 to 4 hours. Flume and Scoop, 2 hours is enough. And like on Spark, we'll be spending closely 10 hours, 10 to 11 hours. Okay?
And you did say this is a 40 hours course, right?
Yes, I mean it's like I say like it's a, you say 40 to 45 hours course.
Okay, thank you.
Okay? So maximum it will be 45. Okay? Okay, so any other questions?
Yeah, how is data scientist is related with the big data?
Okay. So that's a good question. So let me okay. So let me talk about the career opportunities here. Okay. Okay, so it's like by 2017, right, we will have 4.4 million IT jobs to support big data, and you know the reason. Like I told you, why Hadoop is the next big thing, or why it is the future, or why it is so famous. We have discussed about it, right? So I think by now you know why we need to learn Hadoop. Okay, so if you talk about the career opportunities, right? You can become an admin, you can become a programmer or a developer, you can become an analyst, you can become a scientist, and you can become an architect. Okay, so yes. So basically this course is not for admin. I will be covering admin part, but only 10 to 15%. Okay, so basically this course is for a developer and for a analyst, for data scientist as well, and for an architect as well. Okay, but yes, so okay, so like you know what admin will be doing, admin will be managing the cluster, right? And if I talk about the programmers and developers, what they'll be doing, what will be their job role, they'll be writing the processing logic, right? And if I talk about the business analyst will be doing the analysis on the data, like business analysts will try to find out the meaning out of the data. Okay, so yes, okay, so it's like when you have got huge amount of data and you want to take out some business meaning out of it. So what you're supposed to do, you're supposed to do the analysis on big data, okay, so that you can give the proper recommendations, okay, and you can have the correct results, okay, in order to increase the business. Okay, and after that data scientist. Okay, so what is the role of a data scientist? Data scientist will define the type of the data, or data scientist basically will look for the reliability of the data, or data scientist will check how genuine is the data. Okay, so they will be doing some kind of research on the data, and then they will come out with the data types and all. Okay, and big data architects. Okay, so architects, they will be designing the behavior of the system, or it's like they will be designing the solution. Okay, so yes, okay, so top three, right, they are for the mid-level experienced person, and data scientist and big data architects is for higher level experienced person.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. Okay, so yes, okay, so who all are hiring? Okay, so every top MNC, and not only the MNCs, okay, so it's like the startups, right? Even they have started hiring Hadoop professional. But it's like if I show you the statistics, like all the top MNCs like Cisco, HP, Tata, LinkedIn, Google, Microsoft, Yahoo, Amazon, they have got only 17,000 Hadoop professionals, which is only 2% of all the LinkedIn Hadoop related LinkedIn profiles, only 2%. Okay, that's why we say that Hadoop professionals are in demand, because all the industries are having the problem with the big data, and they need professionals who can manage the big data. Okay, and that is the reason why the Hadoop professionals will be getting more salaries compared to the other technologies. Okay, so this is the graph. You can see the salaries of Hadoop professionals. Okay, and yes, it's like Hadoop will be there in market for next 10 years. So when I say next 10 years, it's a very long duration. But yes, Hadoop is the next big thing. And now I hope you know the reason, like why you should learn Hadoop, or what is the need to learn Hadoop.
But still,
Okay.
it is too early, right? It is still, people are not concluded what tools to use, how to get the data. Still, it is in the early stage of gathering the bigger data, huge data basically, right? Like petabytes or gigabytes of data.
Okay, so it's like, yes, it's like every month new ecosystem components are coming in. Like I told you that Hadoop is a framework, right? So it has a group of components. So you can add the components and you can remove the components depending upon your requirement. But yes, Hadoop is the base, okay? When I talk about the other components like Pig, Hive, Spark, right? Everything is running on top of Hadoop, okay? So yes, we are doing the research continuously so that we can do the processing at a more higher rate. Okay, so if I talk about Spark, right, the Spark, right, it's 100 times faster than MapReduce. Okay, so you see, it's like still we are doing the research and we are seeing like how can we increase the speed. Okay. So it's like, but yes, even the Spark is running on top of Hadoop. Okay, so I'm not saying that Spark is dominating the Hadoop. Okay, no, it's like Spark is one of the ecosystem component of Hadoop. Okay, so instead of
It is one of the
working on
components. Yeah.
yes. So instead of working on MapReduce, we'll be working on Spark. But yes, Spark will be running on top of Hadoop. Okay, but yes, you're right. Every month, new ecosystem components are coming in. Okay, because our requirements are changing, and we are looking for very high speed. Okay, so that's why we are continuously doing the research.
So most of the clients who are using the big data, so are they are the and majority are they using the Spark versus MapReduce?
Okay, so it's like okay, so these days, right, we have started using Spark. The reason for that is MapReduce, right, it supports only batch processing. Okay, so if you want to do the real-time analysis, then we will go with Spark. Okay, so that depends upon your requirement. If you do not want to do the real-time analysis, then you do not need to work on Spark. Then you can use MapReduce. That's well and good. Okay, but yes, MapReduce doesn't support the real-time or near real-time analysis. It supports batch processing. That's why we have got Spark.
So Spark supports both real-time and batch, or just
Yes.
no?
Yes, but basically because see, for batch processing we already have MapReduce, right? So basically Spark is for near real-time analysis.
So if the company, if any startup or something is starting with the Hadoop, and so if they see the need for both of them, then they would directly use Spark instead of the MapReduce framework.
Yes, so it's like yes, you can use Spark. But yes, you can submit in Hadoop too, right? You can submit any type of application. It can be a MapReduce also, and it can be a Spark job also.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. Okay. So any other questions? Anyone?
And when will be the next the session starts? The actual, is it from tomorrow or?
Yes. Okay. For that, you can talk to Vivek. Okay. So and they will let you know the timings. Okay. You can talk to the IT skills and then they will let you know the timings.
Thank you.
Okay. Okay, so any other questions here?
Yeah, I think you briefly given an idea exactly. So I'm looking like something like a data architect and a data scientist kind of.
Yes.
So is there any course which you have currently at this point of time, or
Actually,
currently I am at the
yes. Currently.
currently I am an architect,
Okay.
but databases for Oracle.
Okay.
Yeah, but I'm planning to look into the big data Hadoop side, an architect kind of. So
Yes.
that's where I wanted to explore.
Yes. Actually, this course is for a developer, for an analyst, for a data scientist, and for architect. Because you see, when you work on Hadoop, right? So like programmer or an analyst or an architect, right? They all should know the Hadoop architecture, okay? And they all should know the ecosystem components which we have, okay? And we are supposed to know like how they are working together with each other, or what is the architecture of all the ecosystem components. So no, the course content will not be different for will not be different than this for architect. Okay, so it will be the same, but yes, you can go into the detail of the architecture. Okay, so if you are interested, but yes, course content will be the same for analyst also and for architect also.
Okay.
Okay.
Thank you. Yeah.
Okay. So any other questions? No questions? Okay, then we are good for today. I hope I have given you the basic idea like what is big data and what is Hadoop and why you should learn Hadoop and why Hadoop is in demand. Okay, I hope you are comfortable with the big data and with the Hadoop. I mean, from the overview perspective, at least you know like how big data and Hadoop are interrelated. Okay. So yes, we are good for today then. Thank you everyone. Thank you for your patience. Thank you. Have a good day, all of
Thank
you.
you.
Well, thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.